drag a chair over to the window and I'll watch what's going on. The garbage truck tiptoes along the road. Light a candle for the suffering. Send my best wishes with the wind. All out candles, hopes and prayers. Though well-meaning, they don't mean a thing unless we see some change. I might change my sheets today. Well, time is money, and money is no man's friend. And all eyes on the pavement. I'm not gonna touch ya. Don't worry so much about it. The day begins to shine. The parent teaches the child how to ride. The bike wobbles side to side. Two dogs entangle, everybody smiles. The pair across the street. One's up the ladder and one's on their knees, painting the faded brick. What's the point? It looks fine from up here. Well, time is money, and money is no man's friend. And all eyes on the pavement. I'm not gonna touch ya. Don't worry so much about it. I'm just waiting for the day to become night. Next door the kids run amok. The mother screams, don't you ever shut up. And there's one thing I know. The sun will rise today and tomorrow. We got a long, long way to go. Well, time is money, and money is no man's friend. And all eyes on the pavement. I'm not gonna touch ya. Don't worry so much about it. I'm just waiting for the day to become night. And I shine those shoes and mow those lawns. Let's get back to normal. Lay it all on the table. You seem so stable, but you're just hanging on. Well, let go that expectation. Change the station and find out what you want.
Hey, it's Jill Riley from the Currents Morning Show, bringing you another virtual session. And we've had a lot of great ones lately, and that continues today, which I always like to introduce her as one of our favorite Australians when we play her music. We have a nice long history with playing this artist. She's played Rock the Garden twice. She's going to be back in our neck of the woods in the new year at the Palace Theater. And I'm talking about Courtney Barnett, who has a new record to talk about. Hi, Courtney. How's it going?
Hi, going good. Thanks for having me.
So where are you right now? I want to get an idea of where you are. I see that I see some nice solar panels behind you. I see some nice trees. I see some nice red in the background. Where are you right now?
Yeah, it's beautiful. I'm in LA. I'm staying at a friend's place, and I'm sitting on the balcony. With all this beautiful garden around me. It's really nice.
Well, the new record is called Things Take Time, Take Time. And we'll get into talking about the record and some of the new songs. I know that you're coming to the Palace Theater in St. Paul on January 22nd. So how about we get into one of the performance videos here, and then we'll chat some more. I just, upon first glance of this song title, I liked it before I even heard it. It's one of the songs we've been playing here on The Current. Write a list of things to look forward to. So if you could kind of help me set up the song here before we go into the performance video, and we'll talk more on the other side of it. But I think it's just one of those things where it's like, at the end of the day, it just sounds like really great advice.
Yeah, I guess it was advice that was given to me by a friend just when I was going through a rough time, and they suggested, making a list of things in your life that you're looking forward to. And I guess, similar to like, things that you're grateful for. And I was writing this song in late 2019. And even though now it kind of takes on this new meaning, like it kind of during pandemic times, but I guess it was written before then. But I feel like it's one of those songs that I think it's just appropriate anytime.
Yeah, and especially taking on a new meaning, like you said, with the pandemic. Well, let's take a listen to it, and we'll talk some more coming up. So write a list of things to look forward to. New music from Courtney Barnett.
Nobody knows while we keep trying, while we keep trying, and so on it goes. I'm looking forward to the next letter that I'm gonna get from you. Dying, and so on it goes. I'm looking forward to the next letter that I'm gonna get from you. Sit beside me, watch the world burn. We'll never learn we don't deserve nice things, and we'll scream self-righteously. We did our best, but what does that really mean? I'm walking around with my head down, and I'm pushing away. Yeah, I'm pushing away.
It's a virtual session from The Current. I'm Jill Riley from The Current's morning show, and my guest is Courtney Barnett. The new record is called Things Take Time, Take Time. And, by the time this video is posted, the record will be out. So I want to say it that way. The record is out now. Courtney Barnett will be coming to the Palace Theater January 22nd. So Courtney, if you could kind of take me back to when you started working on this record, because it was a few years ago that you released, I guess, your second full-length record, and it seems like you're always kind of keeping busy with plenty of things. But it was time to make a record. So I guess, can you kind of take us to kind of where you were at the time, and when did you get started?
Yeah, I think my last album was out in 2018, and I guess I kind of started writing loosely after that. But I think this album really started coming together in like late 2019, when I kind of dialed back touring a little bit and started focusing on writing more. And early 2020, I went on a solo tour, and I feel like the album really started coming together in kind of late 2019, early 2020, and then I went back to Australia when kind of COVID kind of really kicked off, and I went home and then just had a very quiet year, like a lot of people, and spent a lot of time writing and working on this album, and yeah.
So the world came to a stop. I mean, the music business came to a halt. And I think if there's anything that, I've learned from talking to a number of artists, now we're kind of hearing what people were working on during the pandemic. I hate to say that, like, the pandemic made us all slow down, but it certainly did. Was that a blessing in disguise for you to be able to just stop and kind of just be with this music?
Yeah, I mean, I think in a way, for sure, and maybe, I was kind of trying my best as well to take the situations that were placed in front of me and find a way to make the most of them, or not make the most of them, but just work with them and adapt in whatever way that I could, because I think everyone had to do that in their own ways, and I think it did kind of force this kind of time of solitude for me. I spent a lot of that time alone, and it was a lot of kind of reflection time and a lot of kind of just emotional work, which I guess I would not have. I probably would not have done otherwise. So I guess I'm grateful for that. For that situation that was forced upon me in some way.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned spending a lot of time alone and reflecting. What's something that you feel like you learned about yourself at that time?
So much stuff. I feel like I was just constantly learning. It was like life lessons and personal lessons, and I guess a lot of it kind of ended up in the album. It's hard to know how to verbalize it, but I think there's a big lesson in patience and just kind of learning to sit with my thoughts and kind of I feel like that's an ongoing lesson in life, to just kind of find this balance between everything, and between good thoughts and bad thoughts, and just work and between work and life and just everything. I think is important to have that balance.
Well, and it's, it's got to be a great thing for you as an artist to have an outlet. I mean, your outlet is making music and writing songs. I guess, I wonder if, I think when anybody does that kind of, it is work to kind of reflect and to be alone and to learn to be alone. Did you ever get to a spot, though, where you're like, Oh, I'm starting to take things way too seriously. Because what I love about your songwriting is I think you're able to find humor in situations, or like take a clever twist on a situation. Did you find yourself at times like struggling to do that, or has that always been something that's a part of you?
Yeah, I think that's part of the process. Like, I probably write a lot of stuff that's very serious, very earnest, very like, I mean, yeah, I definitely kind of write through a lot of my kind of deeper, like kind of depressive moments, and just like, yeah, stuff that, and then I read it back, and it's just like, I guess again, it's like finding that balance. For me, like, yeah, I think it's important to like confront those things, and think about them, and write about them, and deal with it. But then I think, yeah, there's something in the process that is like finding this balance. Like, even a song like "Write a List" is kind of, it sounds quite upbeat and and fun and happy, but I guess it does, yeah, it does have it's like this balance between, you know, life and death, and yeah, I think it's just that, just, I don't know, finding some sort of middle ground, and like,
Sure.
yeah, finding the humor in those things is important, because I don't know, it just is, it kind of, it takes away the seriousness of it.
I'm talking with Courtney Barnett. The new record is called Things Take Time, Take Time. And she's coming to the Palace Theater January 22nd. What I love your music videos. I mean, there's a particular style in your music videos, and I know we're going to get a performance video, but I just wanted to comment on the video I watched for "If I Don't Hear From You." When I started watching it, I went, "Hey, I recognize that place. I recognize those trees." Unless unless those trees exist somewhere in Australia or somewhere else in the world, I went, I've been there. That looks like Joshua Tree. And that's where that was, right? You were in the desert for that video, right?
Yeah, yeah. I've been living out there for the last month, just before this tour starts, and yeah. So yeah, we kind of we organized to do that video out there slightly. Yeah, I mean, I love it. I love it out there.
What was your kind of first introduction to that part of the country? Many years ago, so I have this friend that I used to work with at the Current, this friend from LA. So she grew up in LA. It was back in 2006. She brought me to Coachella, and she's like, "We're going to stay in Joshua Tree," which it's a bit of a drive, but it was worth it, because like, when's the next time I'm going to get to LA or that area of the country? And well, we stayed in this little, like, the $30 a night kind of motel, you know what I mean, where you open the back door and it's just the desert. It was kind of great. So what was your introduction to Joshua Tree, like, and why did it kind of impact you in a way where it's like, oh, I want to live here for a while?
Yeah, well, I think the first time I went there was when I did Coachella, and I don't remember the year. It must have been 2014 or 15. And yeah, straight away I loved it. I just felt kind of peaceful out there, and so over the years I've just gone back whenever I can, in between tours and for little breaks, and yeah, I've always just really enjoyed the kind of quietness of it, I think.
Yeah, it seems like one of those destination places for, even a lot of artists, talk about that very thing, that there's a peaceful air to it. The more I read about the place, the more I connected, made the connections with Graham Parsons and how much he loved it, and how he was, really moved by that part of the country. And so it's cool to hear that, throughout the generations, that artists are continuing to have that similar experience.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, oh my God, there's so many artists and musicians, and just, yeah, really interesting people out there for sure.
Well, let's talk some more in a little bit here. And we're going to get to a couple of your performance videos in a row. Rae Street, which is one that we've been playing here on The Current. And right here, If I Don't Hear From You, Courtney Barnett, the virtual session here on The Current.
Stars in the sky are gonna die. Eventually it's fine, just like a lonely satellite drifting for a little while. If I don't hear from you tonight, if I don't hear from you tonight, and it's so quiet outside with this curfew lullaby, is now an okay time to tell you that I like you? I'll wait for your reply, wait for your reply. If I don't hear from you tonight, if I don't hear from you tonight, well, I swear I'll never mention this ever again. But now that I got your attention, I don't wanna bore the brains out of your head. All my fears collided when our mutual friend confided in me that there's a 99% chance that it's requited. I read my Bible left to right, I fantasize I'm by your side. I lay awake and wonder why. I pray for rain and angels cry. If I don't hear from you tonight, if I don't hear from you tonight, oh babe, I need reminding. I got feelings too, and I tried my best to hide them, but I don't want to hide anything from you. Stars in the sky are gonna die. Eventually it's fine. You know that every morning I'm rising with you on my mind. If loving you's a crime, then give me those front page headlines across the country and worldwide, singing I won't give up this time. If I don't hear from you tonight, I know you'd probably close your eyes, and everything will be alright. If I don't hear from you tonight,
Hey, I'm Jill Riley. It's a virtual session with Courtney Barnett. A new record to talk about here, and a published time. The record out. Let's just say it. The record out now. Things take time. Take time. Which Courtney, I feel like you titled this album just to trip me up as a radio host a little bit. When I gotta remember to do the extra take time. Is there a specific point that you're trying to drive? Like a point you're trying to drive home with kind of repeating it in that way?
I think that repetition just seemed to be a bit of a theme on the album, and like musically, sonically, I kind of enjoyed this kind of repetition, and it kind of created this slightly kind of meditative feel, and the phrase, the album title, just became this kind of thing that, like this saying that I would turn around in my head, just like repeating stuff. So I imagine it's just that kind of repetition.
Well, Rae Street was the first song that we heard from the new record, and like I said a little bit earlier, I love the style of your music videos, and this one in particular. And I wonder if the writing process for this song was similar to how the video plays out, in that, you're sort of just like sitting and observing what's going on around you, like on a street, and then you're playing all the various characters that could live in a neighborhood and all the things, almost like those typical things that happen in a neighborhood, or it's, somebody's working on a project next door, somebody's walking their dog, there's I don't know, maybe somebody patching the sidewalk, or whatever it may be. When did the writing for that song start, or was it just an observation of the things around you?
Yeah, well, actually, that song definitely started when I flew back from America in March 2020, and I moved into this little flat in Melbourne, and I had to home quarantine for 2 weeks, and so I was kind of jet lagged and quarantining, and I would wake up at 5 a.m. and watch the sunrise and drink coffee and sit. There was these big, beautiful windows, and I would just kind of watch the street slowly come to life. People walking to work. Well, I guess work wasn't really happening. People were walking their dogs and just like going places. And I don't know, I guess I was sitting there writing or drinking my coffee, playing guitar, and just kind of observing the world around me, and, wondering what people were doing. You kind of create these like lives, or create like stories for the people you see. But yeah, it's very kind of simple, just kind of watching the world happening around you.
When you would get into that routine, did you ever find yourself almost like starting to get overly involved in what people were up to? Like, I don't know, just imagining myself, looking out the front window and like, oh, it looks like, what's her name is 10 minutes late walking the dog today. Or, gosh, the people across the street get a lot of packages. I wonder what they're getting. I would kind of find myself almost like using it for a little bit of entertainment or something. I don't know.
Yeah, not like Rear Window style, but yeah, nah, not so much. Just like I was just watching the world around me, not obsessively.
So what you're saying is you're a less nosy neighbor than I am. Okay, I get it. All right. I'm talking with Courtney Barnett. The new record is Things Take Time, Take Time. Palace Theater, January 22nd. Now, I know that you had somebody play on the record with you. Could you talk about who else plays on the album?
Yeah, so basically the whole album was made with myself and Stella Mozgawa. We co-produced it, and both played all the instruments. And Stella's traditionally a drummer, I guess, but also can kind of play everything. So we both kind of wrote the bass parts, or we kind of just, whoever had an idea threw something down, and but Stella played a lot of like keys and synth and piano and
Oh, what's the name of the band that she's
yeah.
in?
She plays in a band called Warpaint.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
great
so
band. I love Warpaint.
yes, and that's another opportunity is like with these musicians or people that had some extra time. So why not take advantage of that time, to be able to work together on something? You talked about, what some of the things that she played on the record, but what else do you feel like having a collaborator, like what did she bring to the record, even as like maybe just like her presence?
Yeah, I think, well, yeah, all collaborators, like, I've been so lucky with everyone I've made music with. Like, it's just everyone's such an individual thing, such like their own personality, their own style, their musical style, their humor, like just the energy I think that everyone brings in is so important, so different. And I think, yeah, Stella, I mean, Stella's like a very kind of optimistic and just like a good energy, a good creative energy. And like, so I think sometimes when I get stuck on an idea or stuck in the studio, I think like I can tend to like spiral into, it going wrong. And, but she's just like, let's try it another way. And then just keep going, keep working and try a different instrument. And so I think it was, it was just inspiring for me, working with her and seeing how she works and just experimenting so much with different sounds and different ideas and different approaches and instruments. It was a really inspiring creative process.
I'm talking with Courtney Barnett here on The Current. So you've got a tour coming up. I got to think that you're really looking forward to getting out on the road and getting on stage in front of people. I mean, how much have you missed that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it seems a little strange to be going back on tour, but I'm definitely, I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll just be really special. I think after not having played for a little while, and I've seen a few shows recently, and it's just like, it's just, you can feel this different energy in the crowd. People are so grateful. Like, I was so grateful to be seeing music again, and there's something so special about that collective experience, experiencing music as a group. I think it will be really, really fun to play again.
Well, you can add it to a list of the things you're looking forward to, and we're certainly looking forward to having you back in the Twin Cities. You've got a lot of fans here in Minnesota, in the Twin Cities. A lot of people looking forward to your return. Palace Theater, January 22nd. Courtney Barnett will be touring on the new record, Things Take Time, Take Time. And I appreciate you checking in and having a chat and sharing these performance videos with the current audience. Good luck on the road and stay healthy, okay?
Oh, thanks so much. Appreciate it. Nice to talk to you.
Nice to talk to you too. That's Courtney Barnett. And one more song before you gotta go. And before I let you go, if you could kind of just help me set this one up for the current audience. I mean, just kind of an overview of kind of maybe what this song meant to you or how it fits into the record.
I think, this song, I think, is just about like telling the people in your life that are important to you and the people that you love in your life, what they mean to you. And just that idea of, not going to sleep angry, or not kind of leaving a a disagreement kind of unresolved.
All right, let's take a listen before you got to go. Courtney Barnett, thank you so much. Take care, okay?
Thank you. Bye.
All right, bye-bye.
Before you gotta go, 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 I wanted you to know, no, 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 you're always on my mind. You're always on my mind. If something were to happen, my dear, I wouldn't want the last words you hear to be unkind, to be unkind. We got angry, said some careless things. Who was wrong remains unclear. Pride like poison, always keeping score. You don't have to slam the door. Before you gotta go, 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 I wanted you to know, no, 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 you're always on my mind. You're always on my mind. If something were to happen, my dear, I wouldn't want the last words you hear to be unkind, to be unkind. Don't you know I'm not your enemy? Maybe let's cut out caffeine. Tomorrow's too late to reminisce. Call me when you get this.